I've been waiting for, Chainsaw Man, has finally aired. Let's talk about it today. The protagonist of this anime is the most humble one I've ever seen. He lives to please others and tramples his dignity on the ground. He can eat someone else's half-smoked cigarette just to get 100 yen. But no one can imagine that such a boy will become a murderous chainsaw man later on. The story begins with our protagonist, Denji, waking up in his dirty and cramped hut. He lives in a world full of devils. He walks out of the hut and says to himself that he has sold his right eye for 300,000 yen, his kidney for 1,200,000 and one of his testicles for 100,000. Now there is still 38,040,000 yen left to pay back. When the chainsaw devil Pachita, who looks like a puppy, shows a fierce expression next to him, Denji knows he's at his destination. He picks up Pachita and pulls its switch-like tail, observing the tomato devil in the shadows. Killing a devil can bring him 300,000 yen, which relieves a lot of his pressure. The next moment, Denji has killed the tomato devil, and a gang leader walks over, telling Denji that the tomato devil would fetch a good price on the black market. Denji then receives a bounty of 400,000 yen, but after deducting the money owed, interest, the brokerage and other fees, only 70,000 yen are left. On his way home, Denji calculates utility bills and other arrears, finding that he has only 1,800 yen left for the month. At a short distance, a gangster boy in the car asks his leader why he hired such a brat as a devil hunter. The gang leader reveals that it is because Denji never defies orders. In order to verify the gang leader's words, the gangster boy drives up and provokes Denji that as long as Denji eats the cigarette in his hand, he will give Denji 100 yen. Unexpectedly, Denji shows a face of excitement and eats the cigarette. The gangster boy, on the other hand, throws out the crumpled change he had on him with a scornful smile. When they drive away, Denji takes out the cigarette from his mouth and touches Pachita, happily expressing that they get the meals for 3 days. Just then, we are brought to Denji's past. His parents passed away when he was little, leaving him with a large debt. The gang leader threatened Denji that if he could not pay back 700,000 yen tomorrow, he would be sold in pieces. Just when Denji was in desperation, an injured devil puppy in the corner beside took him by surprise. Denji heard that the devil could be recovered by drinking human blood, so he allowed the devil puppy to suck his blood. But Denji said that his blood was not given for free. He wanted to sign a contract with the devil puppy. "I can save you, and you have to save me," Denji said to the puppy. Shortly after, Denji with a devil puppy killed a low-level devil to prove his potential, pleasing the gang leader to hire him as a devil hunter. This devil puppy turned out to be Pachita, who would be by Denji's side in the future. Denji's past ends here. Right now he lies on the bed, starving. He hopes to live like a normal person, to have jam-smeared bread with Pachita, play video games with his beloved girl, and hold her to sleep. Suddenly, he spits out a mouthful of blood, which reminds him that his mom spat blood to death out of a heart attack. A knock on the door brings the voice of the gang leader. "Devil's coming. Time to move." Denji thinks he is going to have a fierce fight the devil again, but the gang leader takes him to an unoccupied warehouse. The next moment, a man from behind pokes through Denji's body with a knife. It turns out that the gang leader signed a contract with a devil to gain power and make more money, and has become a zombie devil. The devil wants to kill devil hunters he hates the most, and Denji is his first target. With a vast number of zombies surrounding Denji, his body gets torn into pieces. When we see Denji again, he has been thrown into a dumpster. As the blood from his body drops into Pachita's mouth, a memory emerges. Denji knew he would die sooner or later in a fight with the devils, and Pachita was the only one he was concerned about. He heard that demons could occupy the bodies of the dead, and if Pachita had this ability, he was willing to give his body to Pachita after his death so that Pachita can live a normal life and die like an ordinary person. Back to now, Denji and Pachita fuse with each other, which repairs Denji's broken body. Denji seems to see Pachita telling him that it is their contract. The next moment, Denji stands up from the dumpster, with an additional switch on his chest that resembles Pachita's tail. This startles the zombie devil, so he once again sends his zombie minions to attack. But Denji has awakened now. As he pulls the switch on his chest, Denji completes his transformation with chainsaws growing on his arms and head. He is like a frenzied devil, launching crazy attacks on enemies. The zombie devil, which was very scary not long ago, is defenseless in front of Denji at this moment and gets killed in seconds. Like a devil from hell, Denji starts a massacre of the zombies that keep coming towards him. After that, a pink-haired girl comes to the scene with 2 henchmen. When she sees Denji covered in blood, she is not scared at all. Instead, she embraces exhausted Denji. The next moment, Denji regains his human appearance. The girl reveals that she's a devil hunter of the Public Safety Division, and there are 2 options for Denji. One is to be killed as a devil, and the other is to accept her adoption, by which she will provide him with delicious meals. When Denji hears that the food includes bread smeared with jam, he slowly says, "Fantastic." The girl takes Dingy to the car, telling him that from now on, he has to obey all her orders, just like a dog she keeps. Dingy then feels hungry. The girl decides to take him to the nearby service area to eat, and takes off her jacket to put it on Dingy. He was always disregarded and left alone, but she is willing to get close to him. Dingy suddenly has a crush on this beautiful girl. In the service area, Dingy orders a bowl of udon noodles. He almost faints because of the excessive blood loss in the battle. Apparently, he hasn't gotten used to Pachita becoming his new heart. The girl tells Dingy that his body contains both sense of human and devil. She can sense that Pachita is still alive in his body. Dingy pretends to be too weak to eat the noodles, pleading with the girl to feed him. He enjoys the interaction with the girl, plucking up the courage to ask her name, which is Makima. He wonders what kind of man Makima likes, and learns he is Makima's type. From this point on, Dingy is intrigued by Makima. Makima takes him to the headquarters of Devil Hunters in Tokyo. On their way, Makima reveals that they are affiliated to Public Safety Division, and plus the civilian Devil Hunters. There are more than 1,000 Devil Hunters in Tokyo. Meanwhile, Dingy is thinking about how to have a romantic relationship with Makima. When they arrived at the office, Makima gives Dingy a set of uniform and arranges for Aki to be Dingy's partner. Aki will help Dingy to be familiar with their work. However, Aki takes Dingy to a corner and beats him up. He can tell Dingy comes to become a devil hunter because he likes Makima, and such people will not live long. He asks Dingy to quit. Unexpectedly, Dingy gives him a counterattack. Dingy's goal is to live like an ordinary person and be in love with Makima. How will he just give up? When Aki and Dingy come back in disorder, Makima decides to put Dingy into Aki's department, where the members all have complicated identities. Since Dingy can turn into a devil, it is a perfect place for him. Once again, Makima warns Dingy that if he dares to resign from the job or disobey her orders, he will be eliminated as a devil. That's when Aki gets to know Dingy's special identity. Aki will live with Dingy to spy on him. For the first time, Dingy lives in a decent house and enjoys the life of an ordinary human. Soon after, they are assigned a task. A human being occupied by devil shows up in the city. It is called Fiend, whose head will take the form of the devil. Aki intends to make Dingy turns into the devil to kill the Fiend, but Dingy directly chops off his head with an axe. He explains that his devil form is so powerful that it'll cause severe pain to the Fiend, and he doesn't want his opponent to suffer too much pain. But Aki gets furious, because his family were all killed by devils. He wants the devil to die in pain. As Aki leaves, Dingy picks up the pornography, thinking of Makima's plump body and wanting to touch her. It turns out Dingy just didn't want to ruin the pornography on the ground. After that, Dingy is assigned a new task by Makima. He and another female colleague, Power, are arranged to hunt for devils in the city. Though a blood fiend, Power has independent consciousness, and thus got to be Makima's subordinate. The moment Dingy sees Power's ample body, he takes the task without hesitation. There are 2 red horns protruding from Power's head. Therefore, they can only patrol in less crowded places to avoid attracting attention. Power is a pretty girl, but with a crazy personality. As she smells the scent of the devil, she rushes to it and crushes the devil with a huge hammer. She then bursts into maniacal laughter, which shocks Dingy aside. Makima tells Power that the devil has actually been controlled by the civilian police, so it is irregular for Power to kill the devil. Power that it was Dingy who asked her to kill the devil, causing them to quarrel over this. Just then, Makima asks them to stop arguing. Power seems to be particularly afraid of Makima and immediately stops. Makima says she will let it go this time, but they should get along well with each other after that. After Makima leaves, Dingy goes to the vending machine to buy drinks, where Power sees a kitten. Power is very disgusted with humans, but very gentle with kittens. Power tells Dingy that a devil once snatched her kitten, and before she could retrieve her cat, she was caught by Makima. Dingy finds Power's interest in cats boring, while his dream is to touch a girl's body, for which he is willing to do anything. Unexpectedly, Power says that if Dingy could help her snatch the cat from the devil, she will let Dingy touch her body. Dingy gets excited when he hears it, saying that the devil is unforgivable to snatch Power's cat, and he will definitely help to get the cat back. Since the devil Power is essentially a bloodthirsty devil, she is not allowed to go out alone, so she has never got a chance to save the cat by herself. But it is much smoother with Dingy this time. They get on the tram to the devil's stronghold, and Dingy is full of thoughts at the moment that he can touch Power after rescuing the cat. Soon after, Power takes Dingy to a remote suburb, where Power tells Dingy that the house in front of him is inhabited by the devil who snatched her cat. Dingy picks up the axe and walks forward, but when he reaches the front of the house, Power raids Dingy and drags him into the room, where a bad devil shows up. It turns out that Power has deceived Denji. She doesn't believe that Denji could defeat the bad devil, so she tricked Denji to make him the food for the devil in exchange for her cat. The bad devil is so excited to see the young man Denji that he directly grabs the Denji to taste him. But the devil immediately throws Denji away because he is unpalatable. However, the bad devil's arm still grows out after he swallows blood. As the bad devil's body recovers, he excitedly states that he is going to devour more humans. Just then, Power asks the bad devil for her cat, but the bad devil blames Power for bringing unpalatable blood and swallows the cat trapped in the cage in front of Power. The next second, memories of the cat flood into Power's mind. Power once fed on the blood of animals and accidentally encountered a thin cat. She originally wanted to fatten the cat and kill it, but in the process of raising the cat, she felt the emotions to the cat and they became the best partners. Now that the cat is dead, Power has lost the faith to live. Even if the bad devil is swallowing her, she shows no resistance. The bad devil flies up excitedly, wanting to go to the city to hunt more humans, only to find that Denji grabs his foot and shouts, "Give Power back to me." The bad devil wants to kill Denji directly, but Denji pulls the switch on his chest and transforms into a chainsaw man, destroying one of the bad devil's arms. Only then does the bad devil realize that Denji is not a human but a devil. Immediately afterwards, the bad devil slams into a city's building, and Denji punches him into the street. A fierce fight breaks out between the two. Denji grabs a car and smashes it into the bad devil. Unexpectedly, the bad devil can turn his head into a cannon and blasts Denji away. The bad devil thinks that Denji is dead, so he grabs a man with the intention of eating him to restore its body. However, Denji reappears the next moment. The bad devil is so frightened that he picks up a stone and smashes it at Denji, telling him not to come closer. But Denji rushes directly at the bad devil and cuts open his body with a chainsaw, completely killing the bat. Power and the cat were swallowed whole by the bad devil, so when Denji slices through the bad devil's body, they are all alive. But Power is now incapacitated and completely immobile. Power doesn't understand why Denji still saves her after she lied to him. Denji looks at Power and makes his palm grasp in the air. Power instantly gets Denji, and although she complains about the stupid reason, she agrees to let Denji get closer. When Denji hears this, he immediately jumps up with joy. Just then, Denji's arm is suddenly cut off. A leech devil shows up, who turns out to be the bad devil's wife and comes to take revenge on Denji. Denji pulls the switch on his chest to transform, but since he has lost too much blood in the battle, only a small chainsaw appears on his head. The leech devil finds that Denji is a handsome devil, intending to let him go this time and make him her man, but Power and the cat in the back have to be killed. Denji doesn't agree, thus a severe battle with the leech devil begins. However, the leech devil is more powerful, and Denji gradually loses the energy to defend himself. The leech devil says that since Denji is disobedient, she can only kill him, but Denji claims that he won't die before he can touch Power. The leech devil mocks Denji for having such a vulgar goal, which angers Denji. In his opinion, his goal is the same as Aki's desire to kill the devil to avenge his family, and Power's desire to save the cat. Nobody has the right to laugh at him. He once again bursts out with Power, but since he has consumed too much of his energy, he is pierced through by the leech devil. Just as Denji is about to be eaten, Aki arrives in time and summons a fox devil to eat the leech devil and save Denji. Aki then arranges for his colleagues to clean up the scene and takes Denji and Power away for treatment. Soon after, when Denji wakes up in a hospital bed, Aki tells Denji that he found his arm and it got reattached quickly. Aki also reveals to Denji that the devil hunter in this world would sign a contract with the devil. Every time the hunter summons the devil to fight, he has to pay a price for it. He signed a contract with the fox devil, and the price he paid for summoning the fox devil to fight was to let the devil eat a piece of skin on his hand. Aki then warns Denji that all devils want humans to die, including the devil Power. Aki investigates that Power might have done something to Denji, but Denji says that Power is a good girl and there are no conflicts between them, because Denji knows that if he tells Aki the truth, Power might be executed. Aki knows that Denji is lying to protect Power, and then he recalls how the people who had just been rescued thanked Denji, which makes Aki start to believe that Denji might be different from other devils. So he makes a deal with Denji. He will stop investigating if Denji agrees to his request that Denji must listen to him from now on. Otherwise, both Denji and Power will be punished and Denji can't continue living in his current way. Denji has no choice but to agree. Afterward, Aki reports his findings to Makima. Denji and Power claim that they found the bad devil when inadvertently walking out of the patrol range, and a fight ensued. Aki thinks that Denji and Power are indeed stupid enough to do such stupid things, since there were no casualties this time, and 2 devils were killed. Aki recommended that Makima not pursue it further. Makima has already guessed part of the truth, but she doesn't debunk it and agrees to Aki's decision. After this incident, Aki lives with Denji as usual. He has taught Denji a lot of basic life knowledge, and they begin to adapt to living together. However, Aki doesn't expect that Makima arranges for Power to also live in his home. Aki calls Makima to express his displeasure. He does not understand why Makima has stuffed all the troublesome people into his house. Makima replies, "Because I trust you the most." Hearing this, Aki immediately blushes and agrees on everything. Therefore, Power moves into Aki's house. But Power has such bad life habits that she neither likes to eat human food, nor flushes the toilet or takes baths, which is unbearable for Aki and Denji. At night, Denji is cleaning Power's used toilet, but he is not happy about it. Just then, Power shows up, indicating that it is time to fulfill the promise of letting Denji touch her body. Power walks into the toilet and sits in front of Denji, whose heart immediately beats faster. Now, Power is not a devil, but an angel for Denji. Denji finally touches Power's body, which is the first time he has had such intimate contact with a girl, and this experience makes him feel very strange. After that, Denji has been a little sluggish, having little energy when he works the next day. Makima asks Denji what has happened, and Denji tells Makima that he finally touches a girl's body, only to find that it seems to be nothing remarkable, not even as happy as the process of pursuing this goal. Makima thinks for a moment and then leans against Denji. Makima tells Denji that the more he knows about the girl, the more comfortable he will be when he has intimate interactions with her. As she finishes her words, she starts to tease Denji with her body, and even bites Denji's finger when she asks Denji to touch her body. Denji is so nervous that his heart almost stops beating. Just then, Makima approaches Denji and says, "I need your help." As long as Denji can help defeat the Gun Devil, Makima will make any of his wish come true. Denji is immediately excited, asking Makima if he can even have further interactions with her. After receiving an affirmative answer from Makima, Denji immediately agrees. 13 years ago, humans prepared a large number of guns to deal with the devil, which caused many gun-related cases. Therefore, people started to fear guns, and the Gun Devil appeared during them. Later, humans discovered that fear of devils would make the devil stronger, so they tried to report as little news about guns as possible. Just then, a memory flashes that Aki's family were killed by the Gun Devil, which is why he became a devil hunter. The fragments falling from the Gun Devil can make other devils that eat them become stronger. Makima tells Denji that when enough fragments are collected, they will find a way to return to the Gun Devil so that Denji can find the devil. But before that, they must kill the devils who obtain the Gun Devil's fragments. Soon after, Aki takes Denji and Power to a building along with a few devil hunters of their department, including 2 newcomers who are participating in the hunt for the first time. They receive news that there is a devil who has eaten the fragments showing up in this building. One of the devil hunters, Himino, proposes to kiss the one who defeats the devil in order to motivate the newcomers to make a move. But Denji is the one who instantly gets excited and immediately rushes to the front. When the group enters the building, they soon discover a small devil with hands on its head, which is easily killed by Himino and Power. Himino's abilities are also revealed. She sacrificed her right eye to make a contract with the Ghost Devil so that she can manipulate the Ghost Devil's right hand to attack in the air. Seeing that Power is not convinced, Himino shows it to her. None of them has realized the danger is coming until one of the newcomers finds out that they are trapped on the 8th floor. Aki realizes that it is supposed to be a devil's ability. Whether they go up or down the stairs or jump out through the windows, they can't leave the 8th floor. What's worse, Aki finds that time has been stopped here. That is to say, if they can't find a way to leave, they will be trapped here forever. The 2 newcomers are terrified of their impending death and gradually break down. Just then, another accident happens. The body of the devil who was killed by Power before begins to swell. As the body becomes larger and larger, the entire space of the floor is about to be filled. If they can't think of a way, they will be completely crushed to death by the devil's body. At this moment, the devil offers that it can make a contract with them that if it is allowed to eat Denji, it will let the others out of here. They have no time to think about why the devil wants to eat Denji, and Aki can't attack because the space is blocked and he can't summon the Fox Devil. Himino then manipulates Ghost's hand to attack the devil in front of her. Although the attack causes pain and damage to the devil, it swells even larger. The devil tells them that this is not its main body and its heart is not on the 8th floor. Therefore, they must sign the contract with the devil if they want to return alive. However, as the newcomer, Kobini, is on the verge of breaking down, her fear stimulates the devil. The devil's power begins to increase, and its body begins to expand further, so the devil hunters can only keep running. Seeing that the situation is critical, Aki decides to use the sword behind his back, but gets stopped by Himeno, because once Aki uses the sword, his lifespan will be greatly reduced. Himeno and Aki have been partners for many years, so she would rather let Denji die than allow Aki to use the sword. Just then, one of the two newcomers controls Denji's body, while the other pulls out a knife and is about to kill Denji, but is blocked by Aki with his body. In Aki's mind, Denji's goal is to kill the gun devil, so he won't let Denji get hurt. Fortunately, Power is a blood devil, and she unleashes her ability to stop Aki from bleeding. Denji is shocked by Aki's behavior, and in order to return Aki's favor, Denji jumps directly into the devil's mouth. But Denji isn't trying to sacrifice his life. Instead, he manages to transform into the Chainsaw Man in the devil's body, and uses his chainsaw to constantly attack the devil. Unfortunately, this devil's resilience is too strong, so no matter how Denji attacks the devil, it can be regenerated. Just when Denji is getting exhausted, he inadvertently tastes the blood of the devil, and he soon gets restored. Now Denji goes completely insane, and he seems to have found a way to defeat the devil. While attacking the devil's body, he sucks its blood to restore his strength. This shocks the rest devil hunters aside. Himeno suddenly recalls her master, who led her to become a devil hunter, once said that it is difficult for ordinary people to fight devils, because humans will always have fear, which is the best fertilizer for devils. Therefore, only those who have crazy minds may be able to fight the devil. At this moment, Himeno believes Denji is the kind of crazy person her master mentioned. Denji has been fighting the devil for 3 days, and the devil finally collapses. Although it can regenerate the flesh, it can no longer endure the continuous pain. The devil gives its heart to Denji, asking him to end its life. Therefore, Denji defeats the devil in his special way and leaves the building with his partners. Afterwards, they go to drink beer and have nice food together to celebrate the victory. They drink a lot but never blame each other for the last fight. Makima also shows up in the restaurant, where Himeno fulfills her promise to kiss Denji. Just when Denji enjoys it, Himeno suddenly vomits into his mouth during the kiss. Denji rushes to the bathroom and throws up. He collapses. How could his first kiss end up so bad? After the party, they discover that Denji and Himeno have disappeared, and it turns out that Himeno has carried the drunk Denji home. When Denji wakes up, he is on the bed at Himeno's house. Himeno takes a mouthful of beer and kisses Denji. She leans on Denji and whispers to Denji, asking him if he wants to do it with her. Denji instantly sobers up. He has never been so intimate with a girl, and does not refuse Himeno's offer, letting Himeno take off his clothes. When Himeno takes off his pants, she finds a lollipop. Denji immediately remembers that not long ago, he complained to Makima about his first kiss full of the smell of vomit. Makima then gave him the lollipop she had sucked, saying that Denji would try many first-time tastes in the future, such as the taste of the first indirect kiss now, which was lollipop. Thinking of Makima's smile, Denji eventually refuses Himeno's intimate request and sleeps on the floor for one night. Early the next morning, Himeno wakes up and makes breakfast for Denji. Knowing that Denji didn't have intimacy with her last night because he likes Makima, she proposes an alliance, with she helping Denji pursue Makima, while Denji helping her create opportunities to get close to Aki, because Himeno likes Aki. Meanwhile, Makima, whom Denji has always been concerned about, has a major accident. She was shot en route to the headquarters of the Tokyo Public Safety, and all colleagues with her suffered the same incident. Elsewhere, Himeno takes Denji to converge with Aki and Power. At lunchtime, a man sitting next to Denji takes the initiative to talk. Then, he takes out a photo, which turns out to be a photo of the gangster boss who once enslaved Denji and this man as a child. The man named Katana is the grandson of the gangster boss. Katana pulls out his gun and shoots Denji and Himeno, while Aki immediately summons the Fox Devil to devour Katana. Unexpectedly, Katana has signed a contract with the Katana Devil, and takes the form of the devil in the next second, directly breaking the Fox Devil's body. Aki pulls out the sword behind him and pierces the Katana Devil 3 times in a row. The sword on Aki's back carries the cursed devil, and as long as he stabs the enemy 3 times, the power of the curse will be triggered to kill the enemy. As Katana collapses to the ground, Aki thinks the battle is over. However, a yellow-haired woman named Akane shows up to help Katana regain his strength. Katana strikes again and knocks out Aki. Seeing that Aki is about to be killed, Himeno gives up her body to the Ghost Devil, asking the devil to save Aki. Katana is then controlled by the Ghost Devil and is about to be killed, while Akane directly summons a huge python to eat the Ghost Devil. It turns out that Akane signed a contract with the Snake Devil. The Ghost Devil was eaten up, leaving only one hand to move. The hand approaches Denji and pulls the switch on Denji's body. The next second, Denji transforms into a chainsaw man and stands up. A fierce battle between Katana and Denji ensues, but the two are equal in combat power, and neither can kill the other. Just then, two helpers appear next to Katana, shooting Denji, but Denji easily dodges. Denji relies on his flexible body to catch a helper whom he uses to threaten Katana to stop the attack. However, Katana does not care about the life of his companion, directly cutting through Denji and the helper. As Denji falls into a coma and the battle ends, Katana turns into his human form. Next, he and his alive partners will leave here with Denji's body. Elsewhere, all the public safety officers on duty in Tokyo are attacked, and most of them are killed in the sneak attack. Surprisingly, Makima, who should have been killed, actually comes back to life, and the next moment all the enemies on the train die. No one knows how exactly this happened. Soon after, Makima and the two public safety employees sent by the headquarters converge. The senior management of public safety has received news that almost all the employees in Tokyo have been killed, and the people who attacked them were gangsters controlled by the Gun Devil, whose goal is to get Denji's heart. Makima orders the employees to take dozens of death row inmates to a nearby temple. When the death row prisoners are blindfolded, Makima asks one of them to pronounce a person's name, while she puts her hands together twisting a circle. As one inmate pronounces the name, he will die immediately. Meanwhile, Akane is transferring Denji's body with a group of subordinates. Unexpectedly, those subordinates explode one after another, frightening both Akane and Katana. It turns out that Makima has the ability to kill the gang members in a distance using these death row prisoners. Soon, all of Akane's men are dead, leaving only her and Katana. Just as they are about to flee with Denji's body, they meet another difficult opponent, Kobini, a newcomer to the public safety. Kobini recalls the scene of how her colleagues got murdered, with her emotions of sadness and anger intertwined. I don't know what devil she signed a contract with, but she actually has super speed, defeating Akane and Katana while snatching Denji's body with her own strength. Denji soon gets recovered, and he goes with Power to visit Aki, who is being hospitalized. Both Denji and Power show no sadness about the death of their colleagues, but unlike them, Aki seems very unspirited. Denji and Power don't stay long, as they have made sure that Aki is okay. They leave. When Denji and Power have just left the ward, Aki picks up the sword on the ground, asking, "Curse, how much time do I have left?" The next moment the cursed devil shows up and replies, 2 years. Then, Aki picks up the cigarette on the table. The moment he lights it, he recalls Himino, who taught him how to smoke. Finally, he bursts into tears. Soon after, the two officers who have followed Makima come to Aki. In the previous battle, Aki used the power of the Fox Devil indiscriminately and got hated by the devil. So now Aki can no longer use the power of the Fox Devil. Therefore, Aki must sign a contract with the new devil if he wants to remain in the public safety. The two then take Aki to the prison where the devils are held by the public safety, and Aki has to choose a devil here to sign a contract. Meanwhile, due to the heavy casualties in the Tokyo public safety, Makima takes Denji and Power to meet a new colleague, Kishibe, who will be training Denji and Power to get their strength improved. From now on, Kishibe will be the leader of Division 4 of Tokyo Public Safety. Kishibe asks Denji and Power what they think of the recent death of their colleagues, but neither of them shows sadness or anger. Instead of getting upset, Kishibe actually thinks they can be good devil hunters. Perhaps in his opinion, dealing with powerful devils should not have any emotions. Kishibe tells Makima to leave, and then tells the two he is the most powerful devil hunter and that from today he will hunt both of them non-stop until they can defeat him. The next moment, Kishibe pierces the bodies of the two with a speed invisible to the naked eye, muttering that Denji has an immortal body, while Power is mostly immortal. He gets 2 more toys. In this way, Kishibe continues to train the two until the evening. Then, he announces that today's training is over, and tomorrow he will go to the residence of Denji and Power to continue training. After Kishibe leaves, Denji's spirit slowly recovers. They don't know how many times they were knocked down, but they know they're about to break down. Denji and Power are definitely not his opponents if they confront Kishibe face to face, so they decide to set up an ambush at their residence the next day to attack Kishibe. Not surprisingly, Kishibe easily recognizes the stratagem of the two and defeats them again. Still, Kishibe is a little happy, because they finally learns to fight with their heads, not by brute force alone. Kishibe continues his training, and let's take a look at Aki's side. Aki finally chooses to sign a contract with the future devil, whom 2 persons have previously signed contracts with. One sacrificed half of his life, and the other gave up part of his organs. The future devil asks Aki to bury his head in his body, because he wants to see Aki's future before deciding what to make him pay. After seeing the future of Aki, the future devil offers to lend Aki his power as long as he is allowed to live in Aki's right eye, because Aki will die in the worst way in the future. It seems that the future devil wants to witness the death of Aki as his eye. Aki does not hesitate to sign a contract to avenge his partner. Meanwhile, Denji and Power finally make a small wound appear on Kishibe's face after many days of training, and Kishibe allows them to train once a week instead of every day. Besides, the two will conduct a real combat exercise tomorrow, because the public safety has found out the location of Katana and Akane, and all the devil hunters affiliated with the Tokyo Public Safety will go out to arrest them. If this operation fails, Division 4 of the Tokyo Public Safety will be disbanded. Power and Denji, as hybrid devils, will be directly killed, so they must do their best to fight. At night, Kishibe and Makima have a secret conversation, from which we can learn a piece of information that Makima actually expected the attack launched by the gang members not long ago, but she did not make any defense, just to make the situation out of control, so that the public safety would launch a full-powered attack on the Gun Devil. Before the battle, Makima goes to the headquarters of the Tokyo Yakuza. The gang leader explains that it was Akane who tricked some gangsters into signing a contract with devils to pledge allegiance to the Gun Devil, while other members do not oppose the public safety. Makima asks the gang boss to write down the names of all the gang members, but he rejects her. Makima then takes out a bag, which contains the eyes of the gangsters' family present. Makima promises that if they hand over the names of the gang members, she will restore their family's eyes. One of the men present tries to attack Makima, but dies directly on the ground the next moment. The gang boss is frightened and eventually hands over the list of all the gang members. Soon after, the public safety officially starts the operation. Denji, Power, Aki, and Kobeni are sent into a building tasked with capturing Akane and Katana. As Akane and Katana find themselves surrounded, they decide to cooperate with the many zombies in this building to duel the public safety. These zombies were left by Katana's grandfather, and humans bitten by them would become zombies. At this moment, a battle has broken out in the building. Besides Denji and his partners, there are many other hybrid devils from the public safety involved in the battle at this moment. One of them can turn into a bloodthirsty shark, swimming on walls and the ground, while another can turn into a spider, moving fast with a lot of feet under her body. The strangest is the angelic devil, and whoever touches her will be sucked out of their lives. Aki encounters the gang members during the operation, but the next moment, all these gang members die on the spot. It turns out that it was Makima who killed these gang members with her ability. Soon after, Aki discovers the trace of Akane, who orders the Snake Devil to spit out the Ghost Devil to fight with Aki. It seems that the devil devoured by the Snake Devil will become his slave. The next moment, the Ghost Devil starts to attack Aki, who then uses the ability of the future devil to predict what will happen in the next few seconds. But the Ghost Devil is too strong. Even if Aki knows how the Ghost Devil will attack, he is still choked by the devil. When Aki is choked and almost faints, he falls into a memory of the first time he met Himino. The next second, Aki regains consciousness, lying on the ground and panting for air. The Ghost Devil hands out a cigarette, which is the one Himino handed to Aki when she first met him. When Himino knew that Aki was underage, she put the cigarette back, saying that when Aki needed someone to rely on, he could ask her for the cigarette. Aki picks up the cigarette from the Ghost Devil, seeing the words "easy revenge" on it. Perhaps Himino's consciousness influenced the Ghost Devil and stopped the devil from killing Aki at the last moment. Just then, the Ghost Devil stays motionless. Aki slowly walks to the back of the devil with a sword and directly cuts the devil's head off. Akane is dumbfounded when she reacts and tries to summon the giant snake. She is already controlled by Kobeni. As the battle for Aki is over, let's take a look at the situation on Denji's side. Denji was supposed to work with Power to find Katana, but when Power sees the zombies, she goes on a slaughter frenzy and forgets her mission. Denji then acts alone and soon discovers Katana. Without too much nonsense, the two start fighting, all the way from the building to the top of a passing train downstairs, and then from the top into the carriage. Katana has more combat experience, cutting off Denji's hands after a few moves. With the chainsaw on his head, Denji tries another attack to Katana, but the next second, the chainsaw breaks. Before Katana can be happy, Denji curses, "Dipshit." It turns out that Denji also has a chainsaw on his leg, and he defeats Katana with this hidden weapon. After the battle, both Denji and Katana have turned back into human forms, and Denji has tied Katana. As Aki also ended the battle, he comes over to join Denji. Denji offers to have Aki compete with him to kick the little eggs between Katana's legs, and see who can make Katana scream louder. According to his original personality, Aki would definitely not do such a boring thing, but Katana is the murderer of Himino. Looking at the cigarette in his hand, Aki finally decides to be crazy with Denji. Under the attack of the two, Katana screams endlessly. As the operation is successfully completed, Makima reports it to the senior of the public safety. Akane was eaten by the snake devil in the process of being taken away, and it should be the gun devil who managed it to not let them know why he wants Denji's heart. Besides, in this arrest mission, they harvested 1.4 kilograms of gun devil fragments. Adding with the 5 kilograms collected by the public safety, these fragments have now begun to move towards the body, which also means that they can immediately find the trace of the gun devil. At this moment, Denji does not know that Armageddon is coming, and he still enjoys the most ordinary life for humans. All he desperately wants is to be able to have enough food to eat every day and have a stable place to sleep. That brings the end of the anime. This anime brings us a strong visual impact with incredible battles and violent scenes. Various devils also allow us to have infinite imagination, and the blood-spattered scene always hits our visual nerves. If you are a fan of violent aesthetics, this anime is definitely enjoyable for you. Next, the super devil that has been hidden in the dark is about to appear, which is believed to bring more and more refreshing battles and plots. At last, I would like to ask you a question. Which character do you like the most in this anime? Please leave your answer in the comment area. Well, that's all for today's video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!